From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
In March 2025, the U.S. government released over 80,000 pages of previously classified documents related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. This long-awaited release, authorized by President Donald Trump, has shed new light on one of the most controversial and talked about events in American history. In this video, we'll break it down into 5 chapters. 1. What we already knew. 2. What's in the new JFK files. 3. What's been confirmed. 4. What theories are now debunked. And finally, what most likely happened to JFK. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The assassination and what was already known. On November 22, 1963, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dealey Plaza, Dallas, Texas, while riding in a motorcade. He was struck by 2 bullets, one in the neck and one in the head. Shortly after, Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested. The official explanation from the Warren Commission in 1964 was that Oswald acted alone, firing 3 shots from a 6th-floor window of the Texas School Book Depository. But not everyone bought that story. Over the decades, alternative theories exploded, involving the CIA, the Mafia, Cuban operatives, Lyndon B. Johnson, and more. For years, many documents remained classified, fueling suspicions of a government cover-up. Chapter 2. What's in the 2025 JFK files? In March 2025, following pressure from researchers, historians, and the public, the U.S. government released over 80,000 new documents related to the JFK assassination, the largest single release to date. These files include FBI surveillance records, CIA operations briefs, international communications from foreign intelligence agencies, internal memos between U.S. agencies before and after the assassination. So what do these files tell us? 1. CIA's surveillance of Oswald. It's now clear that Lee Harvey Oswald was on the CIA's radar months before the assassination. The agency tracked him during his time in Mexico City, where he visited both the Cuban and Soviet embassies, trying to get visas. These visits were seen as suspicious, especially given Cold War tensions. 2. Intercepted calls and tips. Multiple calls were received at U.S. embassies warning about JFK's assassination, including an anonymous call to the U.S. Embassy in Canberra, Australia, just hours before the shooting. Some officials in ASIO Australian intelligence recommended these tips be kept classified for national security reasons. 3. Operation Mongoose details. The documents also revealed expanded details about Operation Mongoose, a covert U.S. program to disrupt and overthrow Fidel Castro's regime. Some conspiracy theories link the Cuban government to the assassination, citing potential revenge. Chapter 3. What's been confirmed or strongly supported? Here's what the new files do, confirm or strongly support. Oswald was unstable and ideologically extreme. He was frustrated, isolated, and had defected to the Soviet Union years earlier. His return to the U.S. was monitored, but not fully investigated. The CIA and FBI were aware of Oswald's movements, but internal communication between agencies was poor. Some within the FBI were aware of Oswald's presence in Mexico City, but others were not. Despite popular belief, there's no evidence Oswald worked with Cuban or Soviet intelligence. His embassy visits appear to have been self-initiated and were largely dismissed by embassy officials as incoherent ramblings. The U.S. was involved in secretive operations to remove Castro, but there's no direct evidence tying these actions to the assassination of JFK. Chapter 4. What's been debunked? Now let's talk about the conspiracy theories that don't hold up under the light of the new files. CIA involvement? While the CIA had contact with Oswald and conducted surveillance, the files do not show any CIA directive or plan to harm President Kennedy. There is no evidence the CIA orchestrated or knew in advance about the assassination. Cuban or Soviet plot. Oswald's embassy visits were not taken seriously by foreign officials, and the files confirm that the Soviet Union was shocked and concerned after JFK's death, fearing it might provoke nuclear retaliation. the second shooter theory. Despite endless speculation, none of the newly released files include credible evidence of a second shooter or shots from the grassy knoll. The ballistic analysis and Zapruder film continue to support the single shooter theory. Inside job, the files show bureaucratic miscommunication and intelligence failures, but not a coordinated plan by U.S. officials to assassinate their own president. Chapter 5: The Most Likely Truth. What really happened to JFK? After decades of mystery, confusion, and secrecy, the newly released 2025 documents help us construct the most likely reality. Lee Harvey Oswald, a disillusioned former Marine with communist sympathies and a personal vendetta against the U.S. government, acted alone. He was mentally unstable, obsessed with revolution, and desperate to be recognized for something larger than himself. He had been under CIA and FBI surveillance, but poor interagency communication allowed him to slip through the cracks. There is still controversy over whether more could have been done to stop him, but there is no solid evidence of a larger conspiracy. The JFK assassination was not a perfect plot. It was, in many ways, a tragic case of missed signals, intelligence silos, and an unstable man taking advantage of a moment in time. The power of the JFK case lies not just in the act itself, but in the way secrecy and mistrust afterward helped breed conspiracy theories that lasted generations.
We observe today not a victory of party, but a celebration of freedom, symbolizing an end as well as a beginning, signifying renewal as well as change. For I have sworn before you and Almighty God the same solemn oath our forebears prescribed nearly a century and 3/4 ago.
Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future deep dives into history, politics, and global secrets. Let us know in the comments. Do you believe we now know the full story, or is there still something being hidden?